Today's Wednesday specialty morning. So let's talk about it, guys. What do you want to discuss? I mean, we could talk short sales, we could talk wholesale, we could talk investments, all those things. Let's get educated. Let's learn today. What kind of questions do you have?
I have a question. So yesterday I went to go meet uh, with a person yesterday that wants to. He couldn't sell his house, so he wanted me to list it for rent, but also with the possibility of selling it as well at the same time.
Okay, so tell me more. What do you mean by he couldn't sell his house? There's obviously a history. What does that mean?
So his house, with the previous agent, was listed at $310,000, and a pretty good location actually. But the house is like kind of like mid, uh. So I guess he couldn't sell it because maybe I'm thinking people think, well, it's not a nice house, but you're paying for the location. It's literally right off of uh 45 in Cavalcade, so it's like super close to the freeway and easy access to downtown. But he couldn't sell his house, so I mentioned to him, well, we've thought about leasing it out in the meantime, just so you can get some income since he's really not he lives in the house, but he's got another place to stay as well, so he's kind of like wants to make use of his property, and so I mentioned the option of getting it under a lease.
So the question I would ask is, what do you really want to do? Do you prefer to sell or do you prefer to rent it out?
Yeah, that's what I asked him, and he wanted to rent it out.
Are you sure that's what he prefers? Because it seemed to me like he tried to sell it, but now he's settling for renting.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the first things I would work through. The other, do you know if he has a mortgage or owes anything on it?
Yeah, he has a mortgage. And I asked him how much. He was like, it's about 185,000 that he owes on. Oh, he still owes on the house.
Okay. So he owes 185. He was listed at 310. What do you believe it can rent for?
I believe it could rent for about $2,000 because I was looking at similar properties in that area, and since it's so close to downtown, there for he has a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, and I was looking at similar properties on that area, and they were leasing it in the range from $1,900 to $2,100 a month.
All right, guys, we're going to do some math. This is going to be some amazing real estate math. Are y'all ready? So here's the deal is, this is a process where you can help this person to self-discover and figure out what exactly is best for them. Because just asking them, hey, do you want to rent? Do you want to sell? I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot if you find out the number. So let's look at it. If he owes $185,000, I would ask him as well, what did he originally get the loan at? But we're just going to go with basic numbers right now. So $185,000 with escrow, taxes, insurance, mortgage payment at a basic interest rate. Let's say his monthly payment is about $1,600 a month. That's taxes, insurance, everything. That's PITI. If you don't, like, I would ask him the question to figure this number out. Like, what is your actual payment? And I get that, but right now we're just going to play with numbers. So let's say right now it's $1,600. And you told me he can rent it out for how much?
For 2,000.
Do you really think he's going to get that, or do you think like that's high mark? High mark.
I think you can get that, and easy
Okay.
too, especially where he's at in the area. So it's literally so close to downtown.
So
He's
here's
like maybe 5 minutes away.
a lot of people say that, and then they actually end up getting 1,800 or 1,900. That's typically what I see. So let's go for a 1,900 just to be conservative, right?
Okay.
Okay. So right now, if you look at it, he would be netting roughly $300 a month. That's just cash. That doesn't have to do with maintenance, right? That doesn't have to do with any other deferred maintenance that he may have to deal with, fixing it up, getting it ready, or any damage they may do, all that stuff, right? So right now we have a net positive of $300, but with maintenance and stuff, I would say, honestly, you should calculate $250 to $500 a month in maintenance costs, because shit's gonna happen. Houses get old and all this other stuff. So really, he's not a true net positive on this property. Now he is gaining equity every month because the price is going up and he's paying down the mortgage. So we can give some positive for that if he enjoys that type of stuff. Now we look at it. He owes 185. And let's say, really, if he couldn't sell for 310, let's say he could really sell for 275,000. I don't know. Let's give him benefit of the doubt. Let's say he could sell for 280. Because 310 didn't work. How long was he on the market at 310?
He was on the market for 7 months.
7 months at 310. That didn't work.
No.
So let's say 280 might actually be realistic. I don't even know the numbers, right? So 280. If he sells at 280 minus percentage and all that stuff, somebody do the math on this. Do 280 times 0.92. We're just going to throw some conservative numbers together. .92. So that's 257.6. So $257,600 roughly is it what he's gonna clear after commissions and everything. Now you want to minus, let's say he really owes 187 after all the fees. And we hope he doesn't have solar panels and a bunch of other bullshit. We're going to call that a clean deal. So if you look at it, 257.6 minus 187, he will make about $70,000, right? And right now he lives there, right?
Yes, right now he's living there. Yes.
Claim this as a homestead?
I believe so. But I think he's I'm not too sure, but him and his sister own the house.
Okay, so but he claims as a homestead. Would he have to split that with his sister or whatever? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Okay, so let's say this. Let's just say you present this to him and say, hey, look, you can net 70,600. And if this is a true homestead, you really wouldn't have to pay taxes on that. Or you can make $300 a month minus maintenance, right? Which is going to cost you. That sucks. I wrote my handwriting's really bad. Okay, so minus maintenance. What's already got that there? We'll leave that alone. So these are two separate options, right? Sell it outright, make 70,600 pretty much tax free, rent it out, make about $300 a month, or you can owner finance this property. And let's just say we get the same price, right? So if you owner finance it, you can do a wraparound mortgage. This gets technical, guys. I don't really expect you to present this to this guy. I just want to talk to you about it because this is the specialty side. This is where we get really creative and talk about things that 99% of real estate agents don't freaking know. You can owner finance this with a wraparound mortgage. It gets technical. Probably want to get an attorney involved. We have attorneys that can help you with that. But guys, he could turn around and he can owner finance to this person at 280. He could probably charge 8, 9, or 10% interest. He could probably get 10 to 20% down. So somebody right now, let's say he sells at 280. We're just going to go at that price, even though for owner finance, sometimes you can get a little more, right? So if he goes in at 280, he can charge, let's say 8 to 10% interest. He can charge a 1 to 2% origination fee. Right? Let's just say he gets 10% down, right? Which is $28,000. So let's say he gets $28,000 down. Of course, you want to be realistic. That's minus commissions, which kind of eats at that. So he may actually want 20% down, but we're just going to go with a 10. So let's say he gets 10% down, 8 to 10%, 1 to 2% origination fee. He can actually charge those people 1 to 2%. which let's say he charges 2%, that would make him around $5,600, right? For processing that. So, and his monthly payment after the $28,000 down would he'd probably be getting about $2,500 a month, right? And he's basically going escrow with that. So let's just say he's going to cover taxes and insurance on an escrow. If not, you break that out. You can separate those out and they can pay those directly themselves. But let's just say taxes are going to cost you about $2,000 a year on this property. No, insurance. I mean, taxes are probably going to be around $7,000 a year. Or let's say, yeah, seven. It's older in that cattle cut area, or probably less, honestly. So about $6,000 a year.
Yeah, sounds about right. 6,000 in that for that area.
Okay, so $8,000, 8,000 divided by 12. What's that?
60s. I don't know.
Somebody do 8,000 divided by 12. Help me out here.
666 point. So $667. Put it that way.
$667 a month, right? Now, if somebody does have an amortization calculator, you can plug in the 280 minus 28,000 at a 8% interest rate, and it'll give you a monthly payment, right? Let's just say the monthly payment on that. Well, I can do it. Hold on. You can build an amortization calculator in ChatGPT or one of these other. But if you have an amortization calculator, which you can pull it from any major banking website, you can go in and put those numbers in and it'll tell you. Let me see if I can pull mine up real quick. MRTI. Amortization. There we go. Mortgage amortization calculator, right? And they say, it's funny, they tell me where I usually go, which is bankrate.com. So that's just what I'm going to do. Instead of recreating the wheel, go to bankrate.com. You guys can practice this right now. Bankrate.com, open it up. You know what's funny? And this looks like it was created by AI. That's pretty funny. Okay. Now when you're here, type in amortization calculator or just mortgage calculator. So we're going to do mortgage calculator. Boom, there it is. It's the tool. Where are you in your home search? Say, I'm a real estate agent. Let's see what that says. Okay. Now I'm going to put in somebody do 280 minus 28,000. What's that? 280 minus 28 is going to put you like 40 something, 242?
242.
Yeah. 242. I just did off the top of my dome. I'm pretty good at this. 280. And we're doing, I'm just, you know what it tells you in here what to do. It gives you a 10% on here. So let me do that. And let's just assume that their credit's kind of boo-boo. Not great. Let's just give them basic credit, 620. Whatever, 30-year mortgage. Good morning. Okay, 30-year, this rate 7. This actually calculates everything out. So this has the full mortgage of 2042, which we're going to back out. Honestly, because these numbers ain't right. 280 per month, that's 300 something. So 346. 2,000. They say principal and interest on this mortgage is 1,696. But I'm going to put in a new percentage. We're going to put in an interest rate of 8%. All right, and that has principal and interest of $1,849 a month. That's just principal and interest, right? So if you owner finance this, you're making $1,849 a month. over $1,600 a month, which is what he's currently paying, about what we figured, right? He'll be making $249. This person will be paying their own taxes and insurance. Homeowner finance it from you. You're also getting $28,000 upfront in your pocket, right? And they're responsible for fixing their own AC, cleaning their own house, making their own repairs. You don't have to worry about the deferred maintenance part. So owner finance can be a very good option for some people. In this situation, I wouldn't quite recommend it, because if you owner finance with a wraparound mortgage, it gets a little technical. I don't suggest people do that unless it's absolutely last case scenario. If this person had a paid off mortgage, I would say that would be a much better scenario to owner finance. Of course, now you've got to educate this human being on what this all means. And that takes a little bit of work. But Othan, do you see how, if you walk through these numbers with him, if you covered what it looks like if he rents it out, what it looks like if he sells, now he's making a decision off of real factual information, like real data. Because the problem with just asking basic questions and staying shallow is that he's not making decisions off of reality. He's making decisions off of almost like very surface, very shallow information. And it's our job to uncover the truth. It's our job to present him what the reality of his situation is so he can make the best decision. Does this help and make sense, Othan?
Yes, it does. It paints a clear picture, what I can present to the client, and then it'll also give him some clear options and what his house means and where he's sitting at. So absolutely, thank you for that, Ozzie.
So what this is, guys, is it's going on a journey with them. It's asking questions. It's helping them self-discover while you're doing some digging. So things you're going to have to do to take time with this, and this is the beauty of it. While you are helping them self-discover, you're building a relationship. While you are taking the time to walk them through this process, you are building a relationship and trust. This is where you become a true professional in real estate. You're going to pull up and say, hey, do me a favor. What does your mortgage look like? Because what I want to do is I want to do a calculator of your current mortgage. I want to do a calculator of what your principal, interest, tax, and insurance look like. What you would be netting if you actually rented for what the market will pay you. I'm going to run those numbers, run comps to see what your rental numbers look like. We're going to run real comps to say what we really believe we could sell it for. We're going to put that against your payoff with the information you gave me. But we're going to look at real factual data to say, this is what you would walk away with if you sold. This is what you would walk away with every month if you rented. And in other situations, not this one, you could talk about owner finance as well. Owner finance with a wrap in this type of situation, I will tell you, you're more likely just to confuse the shit out of him and scare him, and then he's not going to want to talk to you anymore. But if you walk through this process, which is a basic real estate financial process, you are going to enlighten and educate them so he can make a best decision. Because right now, he's just toeing between the word rent and the word sell, right? What you want to do is have him to toy between this monthly and this take home. Now he's making real decisions. Cool? Does anybody have any questions about that? Is it confusing? Does it make sense? We all just like, oh, we already know this shit. I don't need none of it.
No, I got it. I just gotta do my homework on that property and just paint him a clear picture.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to your point, this is how you separate yourself in the marketplace. You know, there's how many, you guys know the answer to this. How many agents are there out there?
Oh man, there's 40-something thousand agents in Houston like that. So here's the deal. I want, like, let's be honest, guys. How many real estate agents you know could work through this math the way that I did, almost off the top of my head?
2%, maybe.
Yeah, the amount of agents that can actually work this type of math to be realistic off the top of their head is maybe 1 to 5%, 2%. Joe's probably right on. So guess what? When you learn how to effectively work this math, You have elevated yourself to elite status. You are now a real estate agent that can talk conversations that most other real estate, you would confuse the hell out of the agent. They don't know what they're doing. But you, knowing this math, can now walk the consumer through it as a professional. That is absolutely how you separate yourself. This is how we become elite. This is why this brokerage, I feel like our agents are so much more highly trained than anywhere else you're going to go, because they're not talking about this stuff. They're just not.
I have a question. So I took classes on the NMLS side, but I never really heard about a wraparound mortgage. Is that something that's super common, or is it something that's more
It is not common at all. It is super rare. So when you get to a point where somebody's like, man, I need to get the hell out of here, and I'm in a tough financial situation, that owner finance with a wraparound mortgage or a subject to type situation may be a very creative way to help them get out of this situation. So the owner finance with a wraparound mortgage, it's kind of just like it sounds. You're taking the existing mortgage, and this is where we got to like really know what the numbers look like. We're just getting creative on this. I just want to educate you guys. If you're ever going to pull a wraparound mortgage off, you need to include me or somebody in leadership in that conversation, because you're getting very technical and you're putting yourself and other people at risk if you don't know 100% what you're doing. And I will tell you, in a subject to and a wraparound owner finance situation or a basic owner finance situation, we will require you to bring in an attorney to help with that, to draw everything up. So what a wraparound mortgage is imagine this. They're in a mortgage where they owe 185, right? The interest rate is 6%. And these are things you need to know. How long have they been in this mortgage? So let's just say this started as a 30-year amortization. There's a word that most people don't know. A 30-year amortization is just the schedule of how this pays out, principal and interest-wise, over 30 years. So now, let's just say he's been in this for 30-year amortization. He's been in this for 10 years. So that means he's got 20 years left on his amortization, which means this loan probably started out over $215,000. And I'm just shooting from the hip based on my experience, right? But and here's the deal is, if you know he's got 20 years left on his amortization, you can't drop a 30-year amortization on that. The schedules will get out of alignment and you will screw yourself. Why? Because if you look at amortization schedules and you study these things, when you start your mortgage on a 30-year amortization, you're paying very high on the interest and very low on the principal. So let's just say out of principal and interest on a basic mortgage, it starts out $1,000 a month. I'm just saying PI. You're probably, when you first start that 30-year amortization, you're probably paying $800 in interest and $200 towards principal. Around year 17, it flips. And you're actually going to end up paying more towards principal and less towards interest. That's how mortgages work. You are heavy interest in the beginning. You go lesser interest towards the last life of the mortgage. So if you throw a 30-year amortization on a 20-year amortization schedule, you're screwing everybody up. You're going to get upside down somewhere in there. Unless, this is where we get more technical, guys. You do a balloon note. And a balloon note means after so many years, so yes, the schedule is 20 or 30 years for what we're expected to pay it out. You're going to make your payments like it's a 20 or 30-year amortization. You got 20 or 30 years to pay it. But we're going to throw a balloon note on it. And a balloon note, typically, most people run it 2 to 5 years. Some people will take it up to 10 years. What a balloon note means is you say, look, you're on a 30-year schedule, but I'm giving you a 5-year balloon, which means at the end of 5 years or anywhere in between now and the end of 5 years, you need a refinance to get me off this note. You need to sell this house, or you need to pay me cash to get me off. Whatever you got to do to get me off this note, that's what we're doing in 5 years. So whatever's left on principal at the end of 5 years, you need to pay me out. That's a balloon note. So we can do a 2 to 5 year balloon note. Okay. So let's just look at it. Let's just say we're not doing a balloon note, which 95% of all these are going to have balloon note, because most people do not want to hold this note for 30 freaking years. They're not Wells Fargo. They are not Chase. So if you know they were on 30 years, now they're down 10, they got 20 years left, you should make your new mortgage a 20-year amortization to line up with it. If they are at 6% interest, you should probably add at least 1 to 2 points. You should be at an 8% interest rate. And whatever you do, you need to make sure that whatever principal you are financing on is not less than the current principal amount that is owed on that loan. So if you know the payoff is 185, you better be taking $200,000 or more left in principal on this loan. Again, that will put you upside down. That will totally mess up the amortization schedule. So if you go 20-year, 8%, you should stay ahead of the amortization schedule. If they make any additional payments, you better put it towards that principal. If not, you'll be holding more money in your pocket, and that note will be upside down, and you're not going to be good on that. So these are what can happen in a wraparound mortgage. This is how you would approach it to keep yourself safe. Again, you would get an attorney involved. Things that can possibly go wrong, you can actually place the note in a trust and protect everybody, but most people don't do that because they don't know about that. That's more technical. But if you do choose to do this, know that there could be a clause within that original mortgage that has what they call a due on sale clause, which when that deed transfers over to the new person, which is what should happen here, that mortgage company can accelerate that mortgage and call the note due. I will tell you, 99% of the time that never happens because the bank does not care. The bank that originally financed a loan, once they finance a loan, we all know this, they are now a debt collector. They have one job. They want to collect the debt, take their money, and pay back their investors. That is their whole financial setup. They do not want to own this property. They do not want to foreclose. That's last on the agenda. Sydney, does that bring any clarity at all? I know it's confusing because I covered all. It's a lot.
No, that helps a lot.
Okay. Again, this elevates us to the 1% in real estate where most people don't know what this is. Does anybody else have any questions about this type of setup, this scenario, what I just went over?
I also recommend throwing in a servicing company here and there on some of them where they report the payments to credit just to kind of further motivate that new end buyer to like keep up with the payments and get that credit reporting and get them to refinance in like 3 years or less or something like that.
Yeah, you can actually take in and you can say, hey, look, we're going to use a servicing company. My servicing company is August REI, or you can use Superior Loan Servicing. There's a bunch of them out there. They may charge like $35 a month, $60 a month, and you can pass on that fee within your paperwork to your new homeowner to say, you are going to pay a $60 a month fee to August REI or Superior Loan Servicing every month. That company, Superior Loan Servicing, is going to be your debt collector. They're going to go to that person you own finance to every month, send them the bill, show them the amortization calculator. This is going to principal, this is going to interest, that's going to taxes, it's going to insurance, all the breakdown. They're going to hit them with their late fees when they're late. They're going to tell you when they're noticed in default and help you file that notice of default. They're going to help you to foreclose when you need to foreclose. But that's what a loan servicing company can do. It's a third party that helps you with this situation. I think that's a strong recommendation.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Christine.
I did this one of these homeowner finance deals for my brother-in-law when they bought their property. And they're having problems now with the original homeowners. Everything was transferred at title. However, the original homeowners are still using the property as a homestead, and they won't release that from that property. Is there anything they can do about that?
I'm confused. Hold on. Is there a wraparound mortgage?
No, it's a owner finance. So, but they have a balloon payment.
The owner financed the property to the next people.
Right.
And the next people that they owner finance to, do they live in the property?
So the people are my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. So
So your brother-in-law and sister-in-law live in the property.
yes, they live in the property, but the previous sellers
That doesn't
won't
matter.
take.
That doesn't matter. They do not have the authority to not take that. The person who lives in the property can prove homestead because they live there. They're the past people that did own the property. Well, hold on. In the owner finance,
Did they transfer title?
deed transfer.
Yes.
Deed transfer. Okay.
Yes.
Deed is in the new people's name, and they own the property. They live in the property. They're the only people that can claim homestead to that. Then there's nothing anybody can do to stop them from that. Now, do the old people, did they make a deal and sign paperwork and say, hey, we're going to keep the homestead?
We didn't see that in the paperwork.
Yeah, no. So they don't have the right to that. The new people don't have to wait for them to release it. That's not a stipulation.
So what do they need to do? Just go to the
Go file your homestead. Go and file your homestead. And they're going to say somebody else has it. I'm going to say, well, I live here. I own it. Here's my deed. Here's my owner finance note. And here's my electric bill, my gas bill, and everything else. Do you need to protect the house? Like somebody can't hold that over you. Like, honestly, them doing that is illegal. If you do not live in that house and you're filing the homestead on and the government finds out, that is illegal. They should go after those people for back taxes or whatever. But here's the deal is the new person paying the taxes?
Yeah, they have an escrow company that's paying all that stuff.
Okay, yeah, tell them to prove all that paperwork. That's crazy, yeah. Nobody can.
And this is a $749,000 house. So their taxes went up $16,000 in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they need to be able to go and get their homestead. And that don't make sense. If the previous people have a homestead exemption on it, why would their taxes continue to raise that freaking much? Right? Unless the homestead got pulled. But I don't know. That's a whole nother story. All I know is, yes, a homestead is a legal thing, guys. You can't file homestead on something that is not truly your homestead. Do people do it? Yeah. They get away with it? Yeah. But technically, it's legal. If I live in a house and I own the deed and I pay the mortgage and I pay the bills and I physically live in this place, I have the right to a homestead. And I can turn in my paperwork, and anybody else that I prove wrong, they're doing something illegal. Technically, that's fraud. I'll be honest with you. It is fraudulent to claim homestead on a property that is not your homestead. Yeah.
Yeah, just have them file, Christine. Just file like normal and then let the court deal with it.
Yep, I agree.
What else, guys? We are playing brain gymnastics and acrobats today. This absolutely, I'm sure some of you guys heads are. Anna, this is a part, man. Anna, you probably missed on the first part of the conversation. I covered all the ideas around owner finance earlier. So I'll probably take this process over to you. But whenever you and your husband are ready to sit down, we can still talk about the owner finance stuff we'd already talked about.
No, yes, please. I would love to re-record it. I just got home from dropping off my kids on their first day, so I'm sorry.
Let's go. No, don't apologize. I did too. But my kids in high school, so we go early. Like this. Super early. Like this. All right, guys. So anything else about this? Because if not, we're just going to get to gratitude and bucket fillers, and then we're going to say our affirmation, and then we're going to lead Jen our butts off. Ready? Any other questions? Go once. Go twice.
Question about, well, not about that, but do you guys work with any investment banks?
Hell yeah, dude. We started one with if you haven't heard of DOM, which is Michael Biegler, we helped him start a hard money financing company, which is he's an investment bank. That's what he does. If that's what you mean, you mean financing to buy an investment, right?
Yes.
You're talking about hard money or private money?
Well, I'm trying to get somebody right now, and they're asking me all these questions. I guess they're just evaluating me, and they're asking me if we work with investment banks. He has a land,
So the question is, what do you mean by investment bank? Right? There's
Okay.
different levels of investment banking, right?
Okay. So I got to figure that out.
Hard money, and then you have actually traditional money, traditional banking that is geared towards investors. They're all different.
Okay.
Right. So the questions I would ask is, what is the scenario they're looking to invest in?
Okay.
So are they looking to flip a house? Are they looking to flip land and develop? Are they looking to build a house on a piece of land? Like, what is that? What is it?
Okay. I have to figure that out.
Yeah. So if it's flipping a house, more than likely what they are looking for, I mean, you can do it through home equity lines like HELOCs. You can do it through lines of credit. Like, there's a bunch of ways to get financing together to invest. It depends on who you are, depends on your credit, depends on, a lot of these companies, if they're going to give you a large line of credit and a bunch of money, you're going to have to turn over financial statements. They call them PFS, personal financial statements. You turn that over and they determine your credit worthiness. And I mean, you can get credit lines up to $200,000, $300,000, $100,000, maybe $1 million. Like so John Burns is one of our hard money lenders. He works off of, he did work a lot off of investment stuff. So he would have people that actually put their money with him to invest. He also did like IRAs. He would help people lend against their IRAs. He also had his own bank financing, and he had liquid cash. He put that all together to fund millions of dollars. John Burns financed me on my first deal like 13 years ago. Michael Biegler started financing us and our people around here probably about 3-4 years ago. We helped him jump in. He had a couple $1 million he wanted to put on the streets, and we helped him to package it and do it. So these are people in our world that are investment lenders. They will give you the money to buy the property and fix up the property.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. We good? We covered a lot of information today?
Hey, Ozzie, that was Michael Biegler and John Burns, you said?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
If you want their contact information, reach out to Sandra. She'll shoot you everything.
Okay.
If it's not, it should already be in our, yeah, it should already be in our thing, on our list, right? Yeah, if it's on our vendor list, just shoot the vendor list out. If they're not, add them. And then shoot it out. Okay. All right, y'all. We covered a lot of stuff. Let's get up. Let's get this affirmation going. What are your gratitudes and bucket fillers?
We're doing this standing up?
Yes, we're going to do it standing up.
I'm grateful Devin's here.
Devin is up in the house. What's up, boy?
I have one.
What you got?
My son yesterday he's no longer a white belt. He is now a gray belt in jiu-jitsu. And yeah, it's freaking, yeah, I know. He's moving up so fast. I'm just super proud of him, and it's super cool. He's very excited.
He got his gray belt by whooping Devin's ass the other day. He was great.
Pretty much. I said, just bring your dad and kick his ass into class.
He choke holding me. Get this one. All right, here we go. Are we in? Okay. What else? I need at least 2 more gratitudes and bucket fillers. What are we grateful for today?
I just want to say I'm grateful for Joe with all of the education he's been providing for us, and how he, was willing to help people out and build their business. Really appreciate that.
Let's go, Joe. What else? I need 1 more gratitude and bucket filler from Google Meets land. What y'all got?
I got one. So today dropped off my daughter's first day in high school. Watching her going to a big school like Pearland, it's just like I'm just wow. My baby girl deserved it to go to that school, and yeah, man, kind of a little tear-eyed, man. I was like, wow, I'm like, where has time gone? But blessed to be able to still be around to see moments like that. Me and my wife were kind of like, kind of teared up about it. But kids are getting older, we're getting older together, and no, it's just it's kind of beautiful to sit there and talk about it.
Let's go.
Think we'll see you in here more.
Anybody else in Google Meets land got a gratitude bucket filler? Go
I'm
ahead.
grateful. Kind of the same thing that Othon said, dropping off, my kinder, my third grader, and then now my sixth grader. She's over here telling me like, Mom, I'm already almost halfway done. And I'm like, girl, you better stop. Like, relax a little bit. So, but just grateful for that. Grateful for the opportunity that we are able to actually take them ourselves and, just spend that time with them, dropping them off. And it's just awesome, but bittersweet as well.
Yes, let's go. I feel like well, what's a good affirmation? I feel like, man, just school zones, dropping off kids, beginning of school, everybody crying because we're dropping off our babies, like something around that. What would be a good affirmation?
Embrace the time. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Embrace the time. What else? Something around that. I like that.
Savor the moments.
Oh, I like that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Savor the moments. Are y'all ready, guys? Everybody's dropping their kids off. We get teary-eyed. I know I got a senior this year. I know Whitney's got a senior this year. Like
I
this
have
is
a senior this
a
year.
senior in college this year.
Wow.
It's look out for us senior parents because we are
20 miles an hour.
we are absolutely not okay. Like it's crazy. So savor the moment. Y'all ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Savor the moment.
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 Save the moment. Save the moment. Save the moment.
Oh, I'm gonna Celeste though. I'll tell her. Good
Oh,
morning.
the last first day.
Good morning.
No, she got tattooed yesterday.
Celeste got her
Good
first
morning.
tattoo yesterday.
What did she do?
She got it right here.
That's so
And
wild.
it says in God's hands.
It says none of your business.
So the school knew she was getting the tattoo.
You didn't or what?
Yeah, no, we all knew.